Nature and causes of forgetting. Have you ever came back home to make sure you turned off the stove? Or have you ever walked into a room for something but forgotten what it was? We all are prone to committing the memory error known as absent-mindedness. You might find yourself wondering, why is my memory so bad? Forgetting is part of life, and people forget surprisingly fast. Before going to the details, please remember to subscribe this channel. Do watch other videos in this channel, share it with students and those who love learning psychology. Thank you. Forgetting, or why do we forget? There are two simple answers to this question. First one, the memory has disappeared, it's no longer available. Second, the memory is still stored in memory system, but for some reason it cannot be retrieved. So forgetting is the loss. It can be permanent or temporary. The loss of the ability to recall or recognize something that is learned earlier. Or forgetting is the loss or change in information that was previously stored in the short-term or long-term memory. This forgetting, it can occur suddenly or gradually as the old memories are lost. Usually it is normal, but the excessive or unusual forgetting, it might be a sign of a more serious problem. In simple words, forgetting is an inability to remember. The forgetting has both positive and negative consequences in life. Positive in the sense that it saves us from painful memories to enter into consciousness that makes our life miserable. It is also a convenient excuse to relieve us. Negative in the sense that failure to recall the material in an important event or examination, it can cause us to be embarrassed and lose the opportunity. People want to remember their skills and knowledge, but want to forget the unpleasant or painful experience or memories. Now let's see the theories that explain the nature of forgetting. There are several theories and models that explain the nature of forgetting. Some of the theories are, first one, the decay theory. According to this theory, forgetting occurs due to the natural decay or fading away of memories over time if they are not used or reinforced. Second is interference theory. It occurs when previously learned information it interferes with the ability to learn or recall new information, or when the new information interferes with the ability to recall previously learned information. Then, retrieval failure theory. According to this theory, forgetting occurs because the information that was learned, it cannot be retrieved or accessed at the time it is needed. This can happen due to lack of cues or context that were present during the learning. Next is motivated forgetting theory. This theory suggests that people may consciously or unconsciously they suppress or repress memories that are unpleasant, painful, or threatening. Types of forgetting. There are various types of forgetting. First one, natural forgetting. It is the forgetting of information over time due to the natural decay of memory. The natural forgetting occurs when we do not actively try to remember information and do not use it frequently. For example, you met someone at a party 3 years ago. You had a great conversation with them and exchanged contact information, but you never contacted them again and you haven't thought about them since then. Then later you happen to run into them on the street. You recognize their face but cannot remember their name. This is an example of natural forgetting. Next is morbid or abnormal forgetting. In this type of forgetting, an individual forgets his things or information according to his wishes. It refers to the pathological loss of memory which can occur due to various factors such as a brain injury, disease, or psychological trauma. For example, the loss of memory associated with Alzheimer's disease. As the disease progresses, the individuals gradually lose their ability to remember things and perform everyday tasks. Like they may forget the names of the loved ones, they may forget the important events or appointments, or even forget how to perform simple tasks like dressing or eating. Then comes general forgetfulness. In this type, when one suffers a total loss in one's recalling some previous learning or fails to recall. It is the occasional lapses in memory that can happen to everyone and are often due to everyday factors such as stress, fatigue, or aging. For example, forgetting someone's phone number that you don't call very often. You may remember the first few digits but cannot recall the rest even though you have dialed it before. This type of forgetting is usually temporary and is not a cause of concern. Another type of forgetting is specific forgetfulness. This forgetting is when the individual forgets only one or the other specific part of his earlier learning. The specific forgetfulness, it refers to the inability to recall a specific piece of information or event, while they are still able to remember other details. For example, as a child you may have learned the Pythagoras theorem in maths class. You may not be able to recall the formula, but you may remember other details such as the measurement of the sides of the triangle and the steps for solving the problem. So that is specific forgetfulness. Then physical or organic forgetfulness. It is the inability to recall information due to damage or dysfunction in the brain. It is usually caused by physical condition or injury. For example, if someone sustains a head injury in an accident, they may experience memory loss or have difficulty remembering new information. They may not be able to recall events that occurred immediately before or after the injury and may have difficulty forming new memories. Next is psychological forgetfulness. This occurs due to the factors like stress, anxiety, conflicts, temper provocation, lack of interest, repression, or other emotional and psychic difficulties. For example, the memory loss associated with post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. In this condition, the traumatic events can cause disruptions in memory recall, leading to gaps in memory or the inability to remember specific details of the event. Now let's see the causes of forgetting. First one, the inadequate impression at the time of learning. The reason for inadequate impression is lack of attention and inadequate learning will. Learning will is necessary for a good memory. If there is no will or inadequate impression, then it causes forgetting. That is forced learning. It results in no learning because forced learning distracts our attention. Sometimes we do not care to learn a thing or pay least attention to it. This type of inadequate learning in most of the cases can be a real cause of forgetting. Second is lapse of time. With the passage of time, what is learned or experienced is forgotten. This is a passive decay. With the passage of time, what we learn gets weaker and finally it fades away. Third is interference. It means that we forget something because what we have learned previously, it interferes with the remembering of what we have learned afterwards. Then lack of rest and sleep. Continuous learning without rest and sleep, it may lead to greater forgetting due to inefficient consolidation. Experimental studies have shown that sleep following learning, it favors the retention. It has also been found that saving is definitely greater after sleep, especially with 8 hours interval. Forgetting is slow during the sleep. Fifth one, poor health and defective mental state. We has to pay attention to the information that has to be stored. But poor health, it affects our attention, which in turn affect the effective learning and it prevents us from remembering the learned material. Then mental tension, fatigue, lack of interest, all these things lead to forgetting. Next one, nature of the material learned. The amount of forgetting also varies with the nature of the material learned. Humans remember things that are meaningful or interesting better than that are not. Then the methods used to learn. Apart from the nature of the material we learn, the systematic and efficient methods used in learning, it also influence our rate of forgetting. Then a rise in our emotion. Emotion plays an important role in learning and forgetting. Sudden rise of emotion, it blocks the recall. During high emotional state, blood sugar level is impaired and there will be an imbalance in the internal gland and it produces cortisol that disturbs the memory cells. For example, the students having the fear of examination, they won't be able to recall anything. So these are the 8 causes of forgetting. So what we have learned. In the nature and causes of forgetting, we have learned what is forgetting, then the theories that explain the nature of forgetting, 6 types of forgetting and 8 causes of forgetting. Then forgetting information from short-term memory. It can be explained using the theories of trace decay and displacement. Then forgetting from long-term memory. It can be explained using the theories of interference, retrieval failure, and lack of consolidation. We'll see this in detail in the upcoming videos. Hope you liked this video. Please share and subscribe. Thank you and keep smiling.